The biggest mistake people make in web accessibility interviews is that they rely only on WCAG and overlook the real world skills that matter the most. Clearing your web accessibility interview is not just about theory. It's about how well you can apply it in real world code and collaborate effectively with your team members. Hi Accessibility Champion, welcome back. I'm Param Singh, your accessibility ally. In our last video, we covered the top 50 interview questions for web accessibility testers. But today, we are covering the top 50 questions for web accessibility developers to clear the web accessibility developer interview. Comment top 50 to get a free Word document with all these questions. Watch the full video because I have bonus questions for your next interview. And before we begin, do like, comment, and share this video with your friends to help them grow in their career. Always remember, your passion comes first, and then comes the coding piece. Commonly asked questions are, why do you want to work as an accessibility developer? What does inclusivity means to you? And how do you stay up to date with accessibility trends? What accessibility blogs, communities, or creators do you follow? You can earn additional points for mentioning our channel. Share a project where you advocated for accessibility in a dev team. Pro tip, always highlight empathy and not just compliance. Hiring managers want someone who really cares why this matters. I'm sure you will agree with me that HTML semantics are the core building blocks of an accessible application. Having a solid understanding of semantic HTML tags will give you an edge over others. Common questions are, why is semantic HTML critical for screen readers? Why you must use a button tag versus a div with role button? Can you have more than one main tag on a page? Why should we avoid tab index greater than 0? What's wrong with using too many skip links? What should be included in the page heading structure? What makes an element keyboard trap safe? Pro tip, review W3 School's HTML tags while preparing for your next interview. ARIA can help or it can hurt. Let me repeat myself. ARIA can help or hurt. And they want to know if you use it responsibly or not. Common questions are, what are ARIA thumb rules that you must follow? What's the difference between ARIA label and ARIA labeled by? If both ARIA label and ARIA labeled by are present on a button, which one will be announced by a screen reader? What's the difference between ARIA hidden true and visibility hidden? When should you use ARIA live and why might it not work? What happens if you use more than one role alert? When should you use ARIA controls versus ARIA owns? How do you debug when ARIA is not announcing content? When is it better to use native HTML over ARIA? And what's the best way to group chat responses for screen reader users? Pro tip, provide real life examples because that's what interviewer is looking for. Everyone knows about WCAG, but can you actually apply it? Common questions asked are, what are the core principles in WCAG? What's the difference between level A, AA, and AAA? What's common WCAG failures in form elements? How would you explain perceivable to a non-technical person? What's the process to map a bug to a WCAG success criteria? What's the difference between color contrast ratio 3:1 and 4.5:1? What WCAG 2.2 criteria are most relevant to developers? And how do you track WCAG changes across versions? Pro tip, don't worry about memorizing the success criteria numbers. Only focus on how these rules help each individual user. Next, they want to know if you test early and often. What tools or linters do you use to catch accessibility issues early? How do you write a unit test to assert accessibility behavior? Have you used any accessibility testing libraries? How do you check for focus management in automated tests? What CI/CD tools have you integrated in accessibility checks? Which browser extensions or dev tools are you using in daily work? Can you test ARIA behavior in Jest or Cypress, and how? And finally, what are the limitations of automated accessibility testing? Pro tip: learn to write and explain assertions that matter. For example, say, I expect this input to have an accessible name. Yes, technology stack matters, but accessibility applies everywhere. Do you need to know React or Angular to be an accessibility developer? How do you make a custom component accessible in React? What are React accessibility best practices with ARIA and hooks? How React state affects screen readers announcement? And what are the favorite accessibility libraries or utilities in your tech stack? How do you debug accessibility across browsers and screen readers? You cannot build accessible features alone. You need a great design handoff with accessibility annotations. Questions could be: what do you expect from designers to ensure accessible dev handoff? How do you review Figma or design specs for accessibility? How do you influence design decisions when accessibility is at risk? Pro tip: ask for accessibility annotations during design reviews. Show that you are proactive and not reactive. This is your final test. Can you ensure it works for real users? How do you test your code with JAWS, NVDA, or VoiceOver? Can you give me an example where a feature worked in JAWS but failed in VoiceOver in your unit testing? What screen readers and shortcuts do you use for daily testing? Pro tip: show that you don't just build accessibly, you test with assistive technology and learn from it. Now, for developers who really want to stand out at a senior level interview, here are the questions. What's accessibility tree and why it's important for screen readers? How do you manage focus for asynchronously added elements on a page? Why should you limit alt text length to less than 150 characters? And lastly, are you aware of digital accessibility maturity model? Congratulations, you have made it through all the 54 questions. If this helped you, like this video, share it with someone preparing for interviews, and comment below which question challenged you the most. Subscribe for real world accessibility content, and together, let's code a web that works for everyone. I wish you the best with your next interview. Please come back and put it in the comment how it went. This is Param Singh, signing off.